Most new Jeep owners are unknowingly destroying their Jeeps in the first year, and they don't realize it until it's too late. I've seen brand new builds fail from simple habits nobody talks about. Today, I'm breaking down 12 things you need to do right now as a new Jeep owner, if you actually want your Jeep to last. 12. Actually read the owner's manual. Nobody reads the manual. You tossed it in the glove box and forgot it existed. But your Jeep's manual is not like a Honda Civic manual. It's got specific procedures for your transfer case, your 4WD modes, your maintenance schedule, and towing limits unlike anything you've owned before. Grand Cherokee owners, your oil change indicator is smart. It watches how you drive, and the max interval is 10,000 miles or 12 months, whichever hits first. Tow a lot, idle a lot, or live somewhere hot, and that reminder pops up way sooner. Wrangler owners, the section on when you can shift into 4H versus 4L differs from every other 4WD you've driven. Spend 1 hour with that manual. Cheapest insurance you'll ever buy. And this next one is already destroying brand new Jeeps under warranty. 11. Shift the transfer case the right way. People are breaking transfer case cable bushings on Jeeps with less than 1,000 miles because nobody taught them how to shift. Let's fix that. Shifting between 2H and 4H? You can do it stopped or rolling, up to 45 miles per hour. Just lift off the gas and pull the lever. Easy. But 4 low is where people mess up. Your transmission needs to be in neutral, and you need to be moving at about 2 to 3 miles per hour. If it will not slide in, do not force it. Forcing it snaps the cable bushing, and suddenly your brand new Jeep is stuck in the wrong mode on the trail. The trick the factory will not tell you? Take your foot off the brake, let the Jeep creep forward a few inches, and the gears line up on their own. Now the rule that saves your drivetrain. You cannot drive in 4-wheel drive on dry pavement. Ever. That's not a suggestion, that's physics. Your front and rear axles spin at slightly different speeds in turns, and on pavement there's nowhere for that difference to go. So it binds up your drivetrain until something expensive snaps. 4WD is for loose surfaces only. Stay in 2H on the highway, always. But this next one is where the real horror stories start. 10. Don't ignore the death wobble warning signs. This is the one that spawned a class action lawsuit. By 2019, the NHTSA had 265 complaints about steering problems on the 2018 Jeep Wrangler alone. That was 73.6% of every complaint filed against the vehicle. The investigation covered approximately 270,000 JL Wranglers from 2018 and 2019. Eventually, Stellantis issued Customer Satisfaction Notification V41 to 192,000 owners and extended steering damper warranty coverage to 8 years or 90,000 miles. Here's how it feels. You're cruising between 45 and 65 miles per hour. You clip a pothole or a bridge seam, and the entire front end starts shaking so violently you think the wheels are coming off. The steering wheel whips side to side. The dash blurs. Your heart drops. If it happens, do not slam the brakes and do not hit the gas. Grip the wheel firmly and smoothly slow down until it stops. Now prevention. Death wobble is almost always caused by loose or worn suspension components. The number one culprit is the track bar. Check the track bar bolts and bushings. Check your tie rod ends, drag link, and ball joints. And do not fall for the dealer trick of bolting on a new steering stabilizer. That's a Band-Aid, and the lawsuit called it out by name. Demand they check the entire front end. 9. Check your tire pressure every single month. Sounds boring, I know. But your Jeep runs bigger, heavier tires than a normal SUV, and they lose pressure faster than you'd think, especially when the temperature swings. A tire can lose 1 to 2 psi for every 10 degrees the temperature drops. The sticker inside your driver's door gives the exact cold pressure for your model. Most JK Wranglers run around 37 psi. JLs run 35 psi. Grand Cherokees sit in the low 30s depending on trim. And do not forget the spare hanging off your tailgate. That thing sits exposed to sun, rain, snow, and cold. It loses air constantly, and it should be kept at the same pressure as your road tires. Check all 5 tires monthly with an actual gauge. Low tire pressure destroys fuel economy, kills tire life, and it can even trigger the death wobble we just talked about. That's the boring habit that saves you thousands. But airing up is only half the story, because this next situation flips everything upside down. 8. Air down before you hit the trail. The first time you take your Jeep off-road, the biggest upgrade you can make costs $0. You just let air out of your tires. Lower pressure means a bigger contact patch, which means more traction on sand, dirt, rocks, and mud. It also means a smoother ride because your tires can flex and absorb bumps instead of bouncing over them. For most off-road conditions on stock wheels, 15 to 20 psi is the sweet spot. For rock crawling on non-beadlock wheels, you can drop to 10 to 15. Below that, and you risk a de-bead, where the tire pops off the rim and leaves you stranded. Never drop below 10 psi unless you're running beadlocks. And this is the part people forget. You have to air back up before the highway. Driving on aired-down tires at highway speeds builds up dangerous heat, ruins your tires, and wrecks your handling. So invest in a portable compressor. A Viair 300 or 400 series handles anything for around $150. That one purchase saves you from calling a tow truck on your first trail run. Now the silent killer most new Jeep owners have no clue about. 7. Rust is coming for your Jeep. Jeeps rust. All of them. Wranglers especially. And by the time you can see it, the damage is usually already deep inside the frame. The frame rails on TJ and JK Wranglers are box-shaped steel, and when the drain holes clog with mud, water gets trapped inside and eats the frame from the inside out. Owners have literally had their transfer cases fall out because the skid plate mounts rusted off. NHTSA complaint files on the 2001 Wrangler document owners spending over $4,000 on frame rail repairs. So here's the routine that saves your Jeep. Wash your undercarriage regularly, especially after salted winter roads or beach sand. Use a pressure washer and blast out the wheel wells and frame rails. Every fall before winter hits, apply a lanolin-based product like fluid film or wool wax to the frame and body mounts. Check your drain holes and keep them clear. Pay extra attention to the rear crossmember under the tailgate, because the tailgate hinges funnel water straight down into that box steel. By the time you notice the rear door sagging, the crossmember's already rotting from the inside. Catch it early, your Jeep lives forever. Miss it, and no money fixes a rotted frame. Quick pause. If you've already caught one mistake in this video, there are probably more you don't see yet. That's exactly why I made the 500,000-mile Jeep blueprint. It shows you what actually keeps these Jeeps alive, and what quietly kills them early. Check it out in the description below. 6. Change your oil on schedule. This is where people burn up their warranty without realizing it. The 2025 Grand Cherokee's oil change indicator will not work on fixed mileage. It watches how you drive and tells you when the oil's actually worn out. When it pops up, you have 500 miles to get it done. The max interval is 10,000 miles or 12 months or 350 engine run hours, whichever comes first. If you're towing, doing short trips, idling in traffic, or living somewhere with temperature extremes, that indicator shows up way earlier. Do not ignore it. For Wrangler owners, the factory schedule is every 7,500 miles. Same rules for severe use. Skipping even one oil change on the 3.6-liter Pentastar V6, which powers most modern Jeeps, can coat the timing chain in sludge. That alone is a $2,000 repair. The upside? Changing oil on a Wrangler is easier than on most cars because the suspension sits so high, you do not even need a jack. Slide underneath, drain, swap the filter, fill it up. And this next one is the fluid 9 out of 10 owners completely forget. 5. Your Jeep has a lot more fluids than you think. Engine oil is just the start. Your Jeep also runs transmission fluid, transfer case fluid, front and rear differential fluid, power steering fluid, brake fluid, and coolant. Everyone has its own schedule. For a Grand Cherokee, the heavy services hit at 32,000, 64,000, and 96,000 miles, where you replace spark plugs, transfer case fluid, transmission fluid, and rear differential fluid. For Wranglers, there's a big service around 20,000 miles that includes the transfer case fluid and a CV joint inspection. Off-road driving accelerates all of this. Do water crossings, and your differentials can actually suck water past their seals, turning your gear oil into a milky nightmare that eats your axles from the inside. After any deep water run, check your diff fluid. If it resembles chocolate milk instead of amber honey, it's contaminated and needs changing immediately. That $100 fluid change just saved you from a $3,000 axle rebuild. Now the tip specifically for Wrangler and Gladiator owners. 4. Torque your hardtop bolts to spec. Every Wrangler and Gladiator owner takes the top off at some point. That's the whole point of owning one. But here's where people mess up. When you put the top back on, you're supposed to torque those bolts to exactly 9 foot-pounds, or 12 newton meters if your wrench reads metric. Not tight enough. Not really tight. Exactly 9 foot-pounds on the body bolts, the B-pillar bolts, and the front receiver bracket bolts. Crank them too hard and you'll crack the fiberglass, which is a $1,500 replacement. Leave them too loose and you get that awful creaking and wind noise that drives you insane at 70 miles per hour. Buy a small torque wrench that reads in that low range, maybe $40 at Harbor Freight. Use it every single time you reinstall the top. While you're at it, put silicone grease on the rubber seals, especially where the rear glass meets the tailgate. Roll up a small towel to tuck between the crossbar and the roof panel if you get that weird styrofoam rubbing noise. These tricks are the difference between a tight Jeep and one that sounds like it's falling apart. 3. Wash it, dry it, actually take care of it. A Jeep is not a garage queen. You bought it to get dirty. But the owners who drive them past 300,000 miles are the ones who clean them after every adventure. Mud trapped in your undercarriage holds moisture. Moisture causes rust. Salt from winter roads is worse because it actively accelerates corrosion. Beach sand has the same effect, plus it grinds away at your paint, seals, and hinges. So develop this habit. After any muddy, dusty, snowy, or beachy drive, rinse the undercarriage with a pressure washer. Dry the body with a clean microfiber cloth. Check for paint chips and rock scratches, and touch them up immediately so they do not become rust spots. Every couple of months, put a real coat of wax on it. Every spring and fall, inspect the undercarriage with a flashlight. Catching rust when it's a surface issue costs $5 in a rust converter. Catching it after it eats through the frame costs thousands. And the next tip is the one your warranty depends on. 2. Keep every service record, always. Sounds boring, but it saves you money twice. First, when something breaks under warranty, the dealer asks for your service history. No proof you did the scheduled maintenance, and they can deny your claim on the spot. Jeep knows exactly what's supposed to happen at 8,000, 16,000, 32,000, 64,000, and 96,000 miles. Keep every receipt. Second, resale value. I see Cars analyzed over 300 million vehicles and rated the Wrangler 8.2 out of 10 for reliability, ranking it 2 out of 32 midsize SUVs. A used Wrangler 1 to 5 years old currently sells between $24,997 and $68,917. A Jeep with documented service history sells for thousands more than one without. A fat folder of oil changes, tire rotations, and fluid flushes tells buyers this one was loved. Every time anything gets done, log the date, mileage, and what was done. 30 seconds of work, thousands in payoff. And now, the single most important tip on the whole list. 1. Join the Jeep community. This might sound cheesy, but it's the tip that makes every other tip easier. Jeep has the most obsessive owner community of any vehicle on the planet. Jeep forums, Wrangler forums, JK forums, JL forums, Facebook groups, local clubs. Every single one is full of people who've already made every mistake you're about to make. Stuck in 4L and can't get out? There's a forum thread about it. Weird noise from the front end? 50 other owners have had the same noise. Wondering if a mod will void your warranty? Someone already called Jeep Corporate and got an answer in writing. And when you hit the trail, never go alone your first time. Find a local Jeep club, join a group ride, and learn from people who've been wheeling for decades. They'll teach you how to read terrain, pick a line through rocks, when to use your lockers, and how to recover a stuck vehicle. More importantly, they'll show up with a winch and a strap when you're in trouble at 2 a.m., 50 miles from the nearest road. That community is the real reason Jeeps last forever. Not the steel, not the engines, not the Mopar parts, the people who love them. Your Jeep will outlast you if you treat it right. Which one of these are you already doing? And which one surprised you the most? Drop it in the comments. I read every one. If you want your Jeep to actually last long term, hit subscribe. And if you want to avoid the next big mistake most owners make, click the video on your screen right now. It'll save you thousands. See you there.